Hey, you're listening to Blindsight. Let's go. Mental health isn't something to take lightly. It's time to fight. It's time to thrive. Let's do this. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to an episode of Blindsight. My name is Jonathan Price, your podcast producer here at Aftersight. And I want to thank you for listening to this part 2 episode with Elyse Draper. And it's been such a great experience having her on not only Blindsight, but she has been on The Blind Chick. And so you can go check that episode out. That'll come out in a couple of weeks, but it's just a fantastic episode. So you're going to want to check that out. Subscribe to all of our podcasts. You can go to aftersight.org/podcast for a list of all of our podcasts. You can find us anywhere podcasts are available. But Bill, I'm going to turn it over to you because you have some interesting thoughts about what Elyse shared last week. So Bill, take it over.
Well, see, I want to make a comment about what I'm hearing and about you, because what happens too many times is someone loses their sight, a trauma or whatever, or as in my case, a gradual deterioration. And
yes,
then the family around the person and the person, him or herself, may just give up. And what you're saying is no. You what you do, and I guess I have to echo the National Federation for the Blind slogan: "You can do anything you want to do. You just need to do it differently."
exactly.
And it's that drive. It's that drive to say, no, don't give up. In fact, and what you're doing is not less than anybody else. You're using different materials,
Right.
using different ways to be able to express yourself. And that's the important
Yes.
thing we're talking about.
Absolutely. I see it as my ex-husband was a diesel mechanic, and he had to have special tools for special parts on those trucks. Now, could they have fixed them without the special tools? Eventually, it would have been hard, but
Right.
they still needed to. The tools are for the job. That's all it
Right.
is. The
Right.
accessibility that we use are just the tools for the job. It's just our job is functioning in a sighted world. So we use tools to make that our lives easier, to make our lives safer.
Right.
But I don't see them as anything but tools. A side project and a project that I've been spearheading with a tremendous woman who happens to have MS in her spine, so she's quadriplegic. She is a senior editor, master's in English, Bible theorist, and incredible writer. We have started, also part of iPub Cloud. It's also part of the publishing house. We've started a project called Super Abled. And it took a few months. Well, it took a while, but we figured out the prompting codes for AI to write a story. And those prompting codes come up as questions or multiple choice for children. Is going to be developed. There's already books. I'm actually writing the second book in the series, which is going to be about a visually impaired 12-year-old. First book was about a quadriplegic young lady and what we do to get along. The first hurdle we ran into, like I was mentioning, anytime we told the AI to try and write a story about a child who may have a disability, it always put the child in the position of a victim, that are vulnerable, that they needed to be helped. No matter how we've tried to sort it out, until we rewrote the prompts to focus on the story, and in this case, the child be able to build whatever character they would like, but it's never going to be personal, so it protects their safety. but they get to actually build the correct structure of a narrative arc between 3rd and 6th grade that would provide them with a small chapter book, usually around anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 words, of a story that they actually created about a character they created within this app. And to be able to do it so that the children could identify with the disability of the individual in the app, I had to make the story about the child, not about the tool.
Right.
Now the tools are there. Prosthetic limbs, wheelchairs, white canes, cochlear implants. It doesn't matter. Those are just the tools that these children will use to become the protagonist of their own story. And it serves two purposes. There's a bibliotherapy. It's the creative aspect of pouring yourself into writing and seeing a story come back where you are the protagonist, where you're the hero. So it makes the children feel good. And secondly, it's going to subconsciously help them learn how to enjoy reading, learn
Right.
how to embrace the literacy aspect of it. We've started with the first 3 big ones, the mobility, visual, and hearing impairment, to build the app around to make sure the tools are accessible, whether it is stylus, punch, or voice to text, text to voice, or actually they're moving forward with AI so that they could do a almost real-time cloning of ASL. So a deaf
Wow.
child could read their story and watch the ASL at the same time, which then helps to bridge the division between writing and sign language. So it's there are a lot of ways to become cathartic, and there's a lot of ways to express ourselves. We do not have to worry about how good we are as long as we are trying.
Wow. Somebody who's listening to us right now, what would you, and they think, well, let me try something. Are there some tips that you can give some people who want to explore what you're presenting in themselves? In other words, to begin writing and to see if, how that works for them. Is there some kind of startup that you'd recommend for someone, say in the writing area, which is what you do, to get started and try out
First,
so that they see how it helps the mental health?
absolutely. First, write about it. Write a memoir. Write about your favorite color. Write about if there's something that speaks to you, then write about it. I was like I told you, I mentioned I was an insatiable reader. I've always been an insatiable reader. I didn't see myself as a writer until I was.
Right.
And that change happened, and for enjoyment, for my catharsis, I tend to write speculative fiction, dark fiction, and I've worked through tough philosophical puzzles in my mind, and it's like trying to untangle Christmas lights. It's you just keep pulling on the sections until you get to core ideas, and it doesn't matter what you're writing. You could be writing, I am pulling on this cord, I'm pulling on this cord, I'm pulling on this cord, I'm pulling on the cord, and 300 words later of just I am pulling on this cord, you may find, and my heart is broken. And why? And it's not just a memoir. With the background in theology and everything else that I do actually have in philosophy, I tend to lean very hard towards introspection as a tool. And that comes easy for someone like me who doesn't, as much as we can talk about me right now, I do have a difficult time actually talking about myself. I tend to be more introverted on that front. But in my books,
Okay.
in my books, my fiction, I can make my characters sort through these problems. And it's almost like role playing at any kind of counselor's office, except for you're writing it down.
So if what I'm hearing and thinking about is one of the things that can help is to write for yourself
Yes,
rather than writing for some anonymous, because you can put all kinds of barriers to writing. Is that part of the blockage, is when you start writing, for someone else
exactly.
rather than writing for yourself?
And Frost said, "Tears in the writer, tears in the reader." Your reader, however they're
Mm,
consuming your work, your reader, your fan is going to know when you are making it up to try to elicit a response from them, or when you're actually feeling what you're putting down on the page. And the most important thing to
mm-hmm.
remember, Terry Pratchett said, first draft of everything is shit. Exact words. So never take that personally. The sculpting process happens in the editing. The regurgitation process happens during the writing. So don't try to
Right,
edit
right.
yourself. Don't try to put boundaries in front of yourself because you don't want to upset somebody. It doesn't matter if this writing is ever put out in public. The act of expressing yourself
Okay.
should be the catharsis.
Yeah, because if it's floating around in your head,
Yes.
It's not going anywhere. And it's oftentimes causing pain. But if we write it on paper, it becomes linear.
Yes.
We're putting it out there and can respond to it and change it later.
Yes.
But we've got it out there instead of just circling around our brain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you write for yourself with no intention of anybody ever reading it, there's also another tool psychologically where you write these notes and then you burn them. It's more of a mental exercise that these invasive thoughts or this pain, it's temporary. Everything is temporary. And getting it out of you so that you can then focus on how to move forward is its own process, so that you can take it to a next step where you destroy those feelings, that introspection that has caused so much pain. It can give you an opportunity to expel it like poison. But at the same time, while you're writing, you can also uncover joy, things that you've forgotten that make you feel good. You can fix the characters in ways that you wish you had been fixed. You can give them advocates the way you wished, or you can make them the hero the way you always wished you could be a hero. Most people, it doesn't matter. It's just a human thing, a part of the human condition. We get yelled at, we get embarrassed, we are humiliated. Something has been done to us, and the moment of shock, we can't think of a response. But then we replay it in our minds later, and we have all the responses. Well, put them down. Put them down on a piece of paper. Put them in a recording. Talk to your machines. And now with AI, and it should be used as a tool, not something to fear. I can just say AI can be an absolute tool for the creative process to help us sort our thoughts. And it's
Wow.
So there's a lot of things, and I do. We are underemployed and unemployed in this community. So whenever we have assets that are not going to cost us anything, it's always nice. I have been working with Copilot, which is Microsoft's, and you need a pro account for that. And ChatGTP, there's the free account, and then there's the actual pro account that you have to pay for. to compete with them. And I actually like its coding even better, probably because more work has gone into it over the years. Google has Gemini. It is very user-friendly. So working with Gemini, I think, and it's free. It's free as part of your Google Chrome search engine. I really highly recommend people play with it. And it's not going to hurt anything to play with it.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, you have given such a vast amount of information to our readers.
Yeah.
Is there a way of getting in contact with you or particularly the group that you formed?
Absolutely. A direct contact to me through the publishing house is Draper, Draper, at iPubcloud.org. The website or our store, the iPub Cloud base, is iPubcloud.org. Very simple. To subscribe and interact and submit to the VI&B, because everybody is welcome to submit, and we will showcase you. Please go to VI&B Creatives Workshop.com, or if you just look up VI&B Creative Workshop, it will bring you to us. And then we have the Super Abled app, where you can take advantage and play with the skeleton of the app and make your own story. If you subscribe, you can see the story AI created just for you. It's completely hands off, because this is a polling experience, which means they cannot be interfered with. So you get to see the actual story per your choices as it was written. That is at super_abled.com, or just look up Super Abled and it'll be there too.
Wow. A lot of resources that you're making available.
Absolutely.
And, we hope to have that information as part of Aftersight. Because people can call Aftersight if they didn't get a chance to write down what you just explained.
Beautiful.
We'd like to have that information as a resource to contact Aftersight, and they can give that to you.
Oh, fantastic.
I've been thrilled listening to you. I'm just so impressed with your creativity. And as I say, this is especially coming off taking 3 or 4 hours to write a one-page report on a meeting, and to see that if I can get out of my perfectionism, and just do writing for myself,
yes,
it will help all of us.
Absolutely. And try to remember, the listeners too, that writing is a part of our world. Storytelling is part of the human condition, whether it was oral storytelling to proverbs, mythology, fiction, nonfiction, whatever it is. Storytelling is part of the makeup and the fabric of our being. And reading and writing, or listening and talking, is part of every job that we undertake. It's part of our relationships with other people, and it's a good skill to build on, no matter what. So that's my last plug. We do accept donations to all of the sites as a 501c3, and all donations are tax deductible.
Good.
However, everything these sites have to offer, we offer freely without the donation. It's just suggested, but we would love the support.
Sure. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, Bill.
To Blindside, and sharing your enthusiasm and your expertise. And I hope it will encourage our listeners to branch out, to try some things. And I know it's making me think about some things that I need to do.
Yes.
And I certainly appreciate you being here.
It's a pleasure.
And wish your organization the best and look forward to maybe having another show talking
Oh, I would love
about
that.
this subject.
I would love that.
Yeah. Great.
And I will. I'm also meeting with Evan, so we'll go a little bit deeper into the tech of all of these, and
you got it.
That'll be fun too. Thank you so much, Bill. This has been lovely.
Thank you very much.
And thank you, Aftersight.
Great. I've enjoyed it. This is Bill Lundgren, your host for Blindsight. You know how to get a hold of us at Aftersight for feedback or whatever. I think that you got a lot of learning from this presentation today. I certainly hope you do, and can become more creative just by taking a chance.
Absolutely.
Thank you all, and goodbye all. See you for the next episode.